I mean, it makes a world of difference.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that can be the difference between success and failure.
So that's usually where I like to start, is just asking how you got started, or a little bit of background and why you needed to get to that point where you started keto in the first place.
That's pretty. So for me, starting keto, I was over 420 pounds. I needed to have a hernia surgery. I had an umbilical hernia, and I needed to have surgery, and I needed to lose weight before I had the surgery. So I went ahead and we started like low carb keto, and I was able to get down about 30 pounds from when I started seeing the doctor to have the surgery till I had the surgery. So I was able to get under 400 pounds to have the surgery. And even still, that was pretty rough, like a pretty rough 2 weeks, like the recovery from that and being so big. And like, you know, I had to lay on my back to sleep, and the complications that kind of come with that when you're so big. So, you know, I mean, that was one of the big things. And I didn't really kind of know, like, it was 2016. So there wasn't as much information out there at the time as there is now. Like now it's like the golden age of keto. There's like so much stuff. Like you can't throw a stick at a store and not hit something with a keto branding on it.
Yeah,
then there was nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was very limited information. Luckily, I found the Two Keto Dudes podcast, and I binge listened to all that and started getting myself into keto. And I mean, that's really my beginning of my journey, just, you know, out of necessity. I didn't want to die.
Yeah, well, it's definitely a good starting point. You know, like it's when you're forced to do something, at least you found a good way to start with it. And that podcast with Two Keto Dudes, I've done the same thing. I've listened to every episode of it, and they had a lot of good guests and information on there to get started with, for sure.
They even talk about me on their 100th episode.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. Because I had lost over 100 pounds by the time that episode was going to air. So they went on their Discord, and they had people send in pictures and like a description of yourself, and they mentioned me on that. It was pretty cool.
So have you been doing keto like the whole time since 2016? Or?
Yeah. I mean, I mean, I kind of came for the weight loss and stayed for everything else.
Yeah. And I think that's a common end game for the whole thing. If you stick with it long enough and you get past the weight loss, and it turns into such a change in the way you feel that, you know, weight aside, I'd never change. I'd never go back to eating crap again, because I just feel so much better this way.
Oh, for sure. I mean, just the difference that I feel like on a day where I eat like if we go like a day or two where we eat like the low carb wraps or the low carb breads, those cause my joints to hurt. So I mean, even just that, I couldn't imagine going back to normal bread or pasta. You know?
Yeah, and like even those keto breads and wraps and all that, I know they're low carb and everything, but they're full of so many ingredients that the same with me, I would feel terrible for days after eating any of that stuff. So I don't know. I eat unbun buns once in a while, but that's as close as I get to that stuff, for sure.
And I mean, having that stuff every once in a while is fine. Like I know there's a company here that in the States that makes this. It's like a black and white keto bread. It's like the label's all black and white, and they make the bread at Walmart, and they sell like hamburger buns at some Walmarts. And I've posted stuff on Instagram about them, and I've kind of begged them to make hot dog buns. Because if you can make hamburger buns, I don't see why there would be an issue making, you know, hot dog buns. And I think that would be something like a real treat to have hot dogs every once in a while, especially, you know, summertime rolls around, we're sitting out by the fire. That would be great. So, you know, I know that I would have the consequences of my joints hurting or whatever, but it's still going to keep me on track.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I think ultimately that's what's important, is using every tool you have to stay on track. And I know myself, I've found myself indulging, I guess you'd say, in too many of the keto labeled stuff in the last year kind of thing. And so I recommitted this last January just to sticking with real food and trying to get back on that track. But you can get down that rabbit hole pretty quick if you start having too many. And that's one of my concerns about making any kind of videos on YouTube about like making treats and fat bombs and stuff like that, because I've made them all, but they're just a trigger for me to want more. So I don't know. I'll have to see if I can make really small batches so that I don't have too many of them sitting around in the house waiting for me to eat them.
Yeah, that's a downside that I've kind of discussed with my wife, as part of the channel that we have is cooking, making, simplified cooking and, how I make things, but also cool and interesting stuff that we find at the grocery store. Mm-hmm. The keto treats, the cookies, the candies and such, because I know people want to know about that stuff and we want to, tell them about it, because not everybody is going to be like me and have an issue with those, but it's a double-edged sword. So I get to make content and I get to help people with that, but then we're almost constantly having that stuff in the house. And it's expensive.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That was another one of my worries too, because, like we can't get a lot of the stuff that you guys get in the States here in Canada, but we can still get a fair number of them. And again, if I have it in the house, unfortunately, if I could buy one of each thing just to test it, and it might be all right. But then when you're buying boxes of things, then it's just sitting there begging me to eat them. So
yeah, and that's one thing. Like I like to go shopping. Like we have a store here in the States called Vitamin Shop. Now they're expensive, but I can go in and buy. Like I can go in and they have like the legendary foods, like the little keto Pop-Tarts and stuff, and you can buy one. Mm-hmm. So I can buy one of each flavor, buy 2 different flavors or whatever to film the video, and I don't have to buy the box of 10.
Right.
So I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess that's one of the advantages to those boxes or the crates or whatever you can get that have different things in them. Like I know I've watched unboxing and reviews of the keto crate and all that, and it seems there's always something in there that's been in there before, but at least you're not buying a whole box of them. Like you can get them here in Canada, that keto crate, but it's just way too expensive. So I don't even bother.
I actually just won one of those Instagram things. Like the things that you see, like the giveaways. I just won a keto crate from one of those. Yeah. So it should be here sometime next week. I'll make an unboxing video of that. But like I said, I enter tons of those because it's neat to try to win that stuff, because there's so much stuff out there that I want to try that I don't want to spend the money on.
Right. Yeah. No,
it's so expensive.
I hear you.
Because I know in the States, those boxes are $40 a month.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. And you add, for us to get it here, I think you're probably looking at almost $60 a month plus shipping. And it's just crazy. Like any of the stuff that I used to get from Perfect Keto or Keto Brick or any of those things, I used to just order them and have them shipped to a pickup point and just across the border. So it was free shipping, and then I just go pick it up and bring it home because I live pretty close to the border. But as we know, the border's been closed for over a year now. So, and getting things shipped here is just not worth the money. I don't really care how good the product is.
So where are you? Are you like on the border, like near Detroit or?
Yeah, I'm actually between Toronto and Windsor. So I'm about 2 hours from the Windsor Detroit border, basically. I usually go to another part of Michigan in Port Huron, it's close, a little bit closer, and it's not in the city of Detroit. So
yeah,
but yeah, like there's places you can have things shipped and you just pay per box or whatever, and they'll hold it for you and you come pick it up. And then sometimes you have to pay duty on it coming back. Sometimes you don't. So, but even if you do, it's cheaper than having to pay shipping to get here. So, I know I priced out the last time Keto Savage released their new bricks there. I priced out, I think, a 2-week supply of them was going to be almost $400 by the time it was shipped.
Yeah. I've still never tried Keto Brick, and I
Oh,
feel
yeah?
awful because that stuff looks awesome. I just never, to me, it just looks like it's going to be a trigger. Like I'm just going to eat the whole thing in one sitting, then I'm out, however much that costs.
Yeah, you'll never. I've never been able to eat a whole one in a sitting. They're great for fat bombs. You just melt them down. You make 10 little 100-calorie fat bombs out of them. You just melt them down and refreeze them. I find they're really good for that. But yeah, I would never. I tried to eat them like just straight as a brick, and I couldn't do it. So, but they're not for everyone either. Like you have to. It's funny. They taste really good, but they are really salty. Like they've got a lot of sodium in them. So I think a lot of people that are first starting keto, if they try them, it's overwhelming, the salt taste on them. But if you've been keto for a while and you actually crave salt, then they're really good. So
I don't know. Like when I first started keto, like I was making my bulletproof coffee because in 2016 that was all the rage. Everybody put butter and coconut oil in your coffee, and I was making it every day. And I was using salted butter. I was use unsalted. I'm like, well, I'm not buying different butter just to make this. And I was using like half a stick of butter. So there's a lot of salt in there.
Yeah, I know. I still add salt to my coffee every morning. It's an easy way to get some of it in for the day. So what's your treats and cooking videos aside, what's your sort of daily eating looking like these days?
These days, I get up in the morning and I have my coffee. I don't make bulletproof coffee anymore. Maybe special occasions, but not too often. I'll just use some heavy cream in my coffee. And then usually have meat and eggs. So like steak or burger or some chicken, but almost always some eggs. Like right now, I think we've got like 13 dozen eggs in the refrigerator. So
well, there you go.
Yeah, I buy them. I buy a lot of them in bulk. So I'll buy them from Walmart. I'll buy like 10 dozen at a time from Walmart. And then I'll get 4 to 5 dozen from a friend who has like the farm raised fresh eggs. And I'll be the only one in the house that eats those. Everyone else in the family is afraid to eat those. So
really?
Yeah, I don't know why, but because, they're not like from the store, I guess. So
yeah, I guess they're not, they don't look like the usual eggs. I get all mine from a local farm here too. So, I'll buy them from Walmart if I don't get out to the farm enough. But I love my farm fresh eggs for sure.
They're creamier. They taste better.
Yeah, for sure. So do you do like intermittent fasting, or you just basically eat when you're hungry, or?
Well, for the longest time, I was doing like 18/6 to 24. But then everything with 2020 and then not leaving the house, that kind of threw my intermittent fasting out the window. Because now I get up in the morning and I'll have my coffee because it was like I get up, I make my coffee, I'll check YouTube, and then I'll do some other stuff. And then a couple hours later, I might have some eggs. And if my wife's home that day, then we might have breakfast together. So there's not a real schedule anymore because I think everything's so different now. I would like to get back to where, so I get up and have my coffee, maybe have that one meal, and then I don't eat again till the next day.
Right.
But that's a little more difficult when you're trying to have a family and people are around. You want to have dinner with them and stuff.
Yeah. No, I can definitely understand that. I've been lucky with everything that's gone on in the last year. I've still worked every day and had to leave the house and everything. So I guess all last year I was on a 1 meal a day, basically, or more like a 20/4 eating schedule. And after a year doing that, I found I got so burned out on trying to eat so much in that short a window. So I this year I've started doing basically 2 meals a day. So I eat at 12 every day, and then I don't eat after 8 o'clock at night. And I find that it's a lot easier to get the nutrition in during the day that way. Because it's, like I say, trying to, and the other thing I tried to do is eat more, because I found myself not eating enough last year, I think, because of that shortened window. So giving yourself more of a window is definitely easier to eat that, 2,000, 2,100 calories a day without feeling like you're gorging yourself.
Yeah, I think for me, when I was doing it and I was doing the 20 fasted 4 feeding window, I wasn't necessarily trying to eat to be stuffed full. I would eat till I was satiated, and then I would be good for the whole day. And that was usually in the evening when I got home from work. And then I would, go to bed, get up, go straight to work, be at work all day, come home, and then it was time to do it again. So I didn't leave myself any options to eat during the day. So my body, I just got used to it. It was totally fine. And then everything changed, and the things, now they are just kind of like, just kind of eat whenever I want now. I kind of wish I need to be more disciplined and actually implement a new schedule for myself. But I think that the problem is trying to find the right one that kind of works throughout the whole, because every day is kind of different for me. So it's really difficult to make it match all week or make it work every day. So
yeah, I can definitely hear you there. My schedule is pretty solid during the week. I eat at noon, and then I eat when I get home from work. But on the weekends, it's kind of a free for all. I just eat when I'm hungry, and sometimes I eat 3 meals a day. Sometimes it's 2. But yeah, I can. I've thought about even trying to eat earlier in the day and not eat at night, but coming home and having dinner with my wife, and that, it's the schedule just doesn't work that way. So you just got to do what works for everyone, I guess.
Yeah, realistically, the only way that you're going to be successful with keto or any lifestyle shift is going to be making it work around your schedule, and not trying to make you, or trying to pound yourself into some hole that doesn't fit. So
yeah, this is true. So have you adopted any exercise during this journey, or is it just more or less a diet change?
It's pretty much a diet change. I had a gym membership for a long time, but I went 4 times, so that was a waste of money. I got a jump rope not too long ago on clearance from Walmart, and it's still in the box. I need to get up and move. So it's time to get warm here, and I need to go out and walk. I need to move. I sit down too much, and I can just feel it.
Yeah. It's definitely nice that it's getting warmer to get out there and just move, because ultimately if that's all you do, that's still better than nothing, right?
Right. I'd like to be, one of those gym rats and get out there and be shredded, and I just don't think that's in the cards for me. Maybe one day, but I don't know.
Yeah, I've thought about that too. I've done the whole gym thing years ago when I tried to lose weight, and trying to eat the healthy rice and chicken and all that, and work out at the gym, and it just didn't last very long. That's but when I started keto, it was the same thing. Thankfully I've got a fairly active job, so I'm not sitting too much. But yeah, just changing diet just instantly started losing weight off that.
Yeah, about 11 years ago or so, in 2010, I tried to lose weight by going to the gym and eating eating salads and rice and, everything that you're told is supposed to make you lose weight. And I was not as big as I was when I started keto. I was still well over 300 pounds. I was probably 350, 360. And I was going every weekday, Monday through Friday, and sometimes again in the afternoon after work on like Tuesdays and Thursdays. So like 7 days a week, or 7 times a week, I was going to the gym, and I was putting in an hour, hour and a half. I was swimming and sauna and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I lost in 6 months 30 pounds. So like 5 pounds a month,
right?
Which is still losing, but it's very discouraging when you're putting that much time and effort into something and you're doing everything you're told that should work. And obviously after about 6 to 7 months, I just kind of gave up, and here we are.
Yeah. That whole eat less and move more kind of mentality is really hard. I guess some people can do it, but there's no way I could do that long term. That's why I like keto so much, because you can just, as long as you're eating the right things, technically you can just eat until you're full, and you're not depriving yourself of any nutrition. I guess obviously you can't have a lot of the stuff that friends and family might be having in front of you, but it's I guess if you can change the mentality and look at how much it helps, then it's not really that hard after a while.
Yeah, I mean, at first it was a little difficult, and people, you'd be around, you go out to dinner or whatever, and it was like, well, what are you going to eat? I'm like, well, I'll just get a burger, no bun or whatever.
Right.
After time, I mean, it's no big deal. It's, I can just go out and sit with friends and not even eat, just have a glass of water. I mean, beginning of the year, I did a 21-day water fast, and I went out to dinner at least twice with the family and just sat and had water. That's a little awkward when you're sitting out at a restaurant and everyone's ordering food and like, well, what do you want? I'll just have a water. Like, yeah. Well, I'm like, what are you, homeless? Oh, I'm fasting.
Yeah. But, yeah, that would be an experience. I've gone 2 days before. That's the longest I've done. So it's 21 days would definitely be an experience.
Yeah, I really wanted to. That was like a really big bucket list thing for me, because I've done 7 days a bunch. I've done 14, 15. When I did 15, I was actually going for 21 days, and I didn't hit it. I hit day 15 and I hit a wall. I'm like, okay. And I did a couple more 7-day fasts after that. Like, all right, I'm going to do this 21-day fast. 2021, we're doing it. We're getting it done. And I was successful, and I was able to lose about 40 pounds in the 21 days and kept about 35 of it off. So,
wow.
So that was a big, like, I always tell people, like, fasting like that, weight loss necessarily isn't the goal. It's more of a refresh, like a restart for yourself. Autophagy is very big. Mm-hmm. Making, kind of like the, full body cleanse, if you will, depending on, how you look at that with the science and everything. But I mean, just for me, it did a world of good for me. I was able to come out of it and keep that weight off, which I anticipated probably gaining about half of it back, but I didn't. So hopefully I'm doing something right.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I say, I've thought about doing longer fasts, but again, it comes down to trying to balance the way I live with keto, because nobody, like none of my friends, none of my family, well, I should say none of my family, my one cousin's keto, but no one else in my sort of immediate circle follows keto. So it's kind of one of those things where you don't want to rock the boat too much, I guess, but I still stick to it. But I have a feeling if I got into an extended fast, I might have to go back to trying to explain myself. So sometimes I find it easier just to stay with what I'm doing.
I'm lucky. My wife's really supportive of me. She does keto. And like when we went back in 2016, when we decided to go keto, we basically emptied the house of everything. We had 2 teenage boys still at home, and by de facto, they were keto as well. When they were home, they ate keto. If they went out with their friends or whatever, or they went out with their dad, whatever, they could eat whatever they wanted. But at home, we didn't cook anything. We didn't stock anything in the house that wasn't keto. I mean, we would get popcorn for them. We still kind of keep the bags of popcorn in the house for them. And we'll get like carrots and stuff that I won't eat, and I won't eat the popcorn. But those are like little things that we'll have in the house that they can have that kind of keeps them at bay. But I mean, other than that, like, well, only one of our kids lives with us now. So he's just turned 17. The others are over 20 years old now. So they all live on their own. But But I mean, and all of them have not keto anymore, except for the one that lives with us. He's keto when he's home. But But when he goes over to his sister's house or whatever, he eats whatever they have. And
right. Yeah. And well, I think with younger kids, like I've got 2 step kids too. And, you know, they just eat whatever they want. But, you know, I found with dietary changes like this, it's one of those things where, you know, you can try and get people to change all you want, but unless they really want to make a change themselves, it's really not, it doesn't matter how much you talk to them about it. It's not really going to change anything. But
yeah, I was thinking about that today. Like the idea that somebody will say something to you like, well, I'm glad you found something that works for you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of like, well, I'm not going to do that. Good for you though.
Yeah. I've had plenty of people ask me, obviously, like I lost about 80 pounds. So it was a pretty big change for me, and people noticed and asked, well, what did you do? And all this. But as soon as you get to the, you know, stop eating sugar and grains, they're like, oh, no, can't do that. So they don't even want to hear it. It's so many people. But I think, again, it comes down to more, for me, when I started, I wanted to lose weight, but I also had really bad digestion issues. So I was trying to find out what was causing that. And I thought it was gluten. So I went gluten-free for like 4 years, and it helped things, but it didn't fix them. But what I found, keto, it completely cleared everything up. So it just turned out that it was all the sugar and the junk food and all the crap. And a lot, unfortunately, chocolate doesn't sit well with me either. So, which is kind of just disappointing. Like even sugar-free chocolate doesn't sit well. So, but you do what you got to do, I guess.
Oh, of course.
So one question I like to ask everyone, again, it goes back to what we were just talking about. What do you think is the most common reason why people either don't start keto or why they fail after starting?
I think the common reason most people will fail at keto, if they've actually started, is they start with the mentality that I'm going to go back to my normal everyday routine once I've lost X pounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
That, in combination with when they are doing the ketogenic diet, they're not doing it or they're not molding the diet to them. They're trying to mold to the diet. So I think those two in combination really are huge pitfalls for people. So, I mean, as far as not getting started, well, I mean, not doing something is about the easiest thing you can do. You not go to the gym, not try to get a new job, not try a new diet. You know what I mean? Those things that, you know, as humans, I think we're experts at getting in our own way.
Right.
So I think just taking that first step and trying something new is huge. It's paramount. Though I think, you know, the major pitfalls like I outlined, I think just you have to set yourself up for success. You have to understand yourself, and you have to be realistic in your understanding of yourself. You can't have like that Hollywood idea of yourself. You have to be realistic and humble and know your own faults. Like we talked about, you know, I'm not going to, you know, like I'm afraid to try keto brick or whatever, because I know that I would probably try to eat the whole thing because it looks delicious, you know? And that's one thing that's made keto something that's successful for me, because if I make a pound of bacon and I'm hungry enough to eat the pound of bacon and I eat the pound of bacon, it's not going to derail me.
Right.
A lot of the keto sweets are the same way. If I make them myself and if I eat a whole bunch of them, it's not going to be the end of the world. So I've kind of set myself up. So even if I try to get in my own way, I'm still not going to fall that far.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense. It's, I think the whole, if you actually get started in it, if you can shift that mentality from treating it as a weight loss diet and more of a, just a healthy lifestyle, I think that definitely can help people turn that corner and turn it into a lifestyle. Because you're right, it's if you treat it as, okay, well, I'm just gonna do this for a couple of months, and then unfortunately, a lot of people, and with guys, it's pretty good. It starts right away, but like for women, a lot of the times they don't see any results for 2-3 months, and by that time, a lot of them have given up because they don't think it's working.
I got lucky. So I got lucky in two aspects. And I say that I got lucky in one aspect, which is kind of a weird way to look at it. Because I was so heavy, I was over 400 pounds. I was lucky that I had a long way to go. So starting keto, I knew I was going to be doing it for a while. I still want to get down below 200 pounds. I don't know if that'll be what my body wants me to do, but I'm going to try to get to where I get and stay where I stay, sort of, I guess. But having my wife be as supportive as she has been, because she's been doing it right along with me. Now she has more cheat days than I do. She likes Chick-fil-A. She likes, everyone, she goes out with our daughter and they'll go out to dinner, or she goes out with her friends and gets whatever she wants. But at home with me, she stays keto, and she does everything. And in the beginning, like you said, for guys, it just hit and I was doing wonderful. It took her, it was a grueling 6 months. Like there were times where she was, I don't think I can maintain this.
Yeah.
It's not working. I'm not losing weight, not feeling good. And, we did everything from, strict keto. We got her doing carnivore, even for a little while, just kept lowering the carbs for her to see if we could get it there. And I'm lucky because she did everything in her power to stick with it because she wanted to do it for me. I can't understand. I don't know of anybody else who would do that for me.
Right.
I don't even know if I would have been capable to do it for her.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, just being realistic, but
yeah, no, that is great. And I think that is a huge part of being successful on any life change, is having some sort of support. Like I say, my wife doesn't do keto, but she's fully supportive of it. And, we work things out. I do most of the cooking as it is. And sometimes all I eat is meat and, a little bit of vegetables, and then she has whatever else she wants. But, we make it work together, and she's never sort of given me any kind of grief about it. So it's been good to have someone that understands that it means that much to keep going on it.
I mean, it makes a world of difference. I mean, that can be the difference between success and failure.
Oh yeah. If you don't have someone, if the closest people to you are against what you're doing, there's, if it's miserable trying to do it, then there's no way you're going to stick to it. Okay. Well, I've taken up a bit of your time here. It's looking forward to your new podcast that's coming out. You're saying it's on Spotify that you're going to upload it, or?
Yeah, I've got the audio on Spotify. The first episode's live already. Then this weekend, I'll put the video and everything up on YouTube.
Okay. And what's the name of the podcast? Just Keto Simple, or?
Keto Simple Podcast.
Yeah.
So it should come up under Keto Simple. Just logo's the same on Twitter and Instagram and everything.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah, I'll put all your links down in the description of the video. And like I say, I like watching all of your videos and all your posts on Instagram as well. Instagram's definitely been one good place to be in this journey, I guess, with all the people on Instagram that, for the most part, are pretty supportive. And there's a lot of people out there just trying to make money off it, but
yeah,
it's if you can weed that out of it, it's a pretty good group of people over there.
Well, I really appreciate you having me on. I think this is awesome. I think just having more of these conversations amongst, people that are doing the same thing you're doing, like it's it makes a world of difference. And I mean, I'm totally grateful, and I'm super excited to be involved with such a great community.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Thanks for coming on. It's like I said, the only reason I've started doing this is because, we're not doing this for the first time, or, we're not the first people doing it, but, the more we can get out there and the more we can talk about it, hopefully the more visibility is for people that are trying to get started. And, if something in our conversation can stick with someone, then it makes it worthwhile, right?